The struggle within. The days blurred together after that night, when I had first felt the full extent of the power awakening inside me. I had learned to harness it, to call it when I needed it. But with every day that passed, I began to realize the price I would have to pay for such power. Mama Abel's words echoed in my mind: you must embrace your bloodline. Accept it as your truth. But how could I accept something that felt like a curse? The power was there, yes, but so was the darkness. Every time I used it, I felt a pull, a deep urge to give in to something far more sinister. It wasn't just the power that scared me, it was what it could become. The more I tapped into it, the more I felt the darkness growing inside me, like a shadow waiting to consume me. I sat by the window, looking out at the moonlit night. The air felt heavy, like the calm before a storm. Chidike was out in the village, running errands for Mama Abel, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming. The council, the spirits, they were all watching, waiting for me to falter. And every time I hesitated, every time I questioned the power, I could feel them growing stronger. You are the keeper of the breach, Amarachi, the voice inside my mind whispered again. The power inside you is your birthright. Do not fight it. You were always meant to wield it. But could I trust it? Could I trust myself? The darkness within. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. The power surged through me, twisting and writhing like a serpent. I could feel it calling, urging me to let go, to surrender to it. And for a moment, I considered it. The fear, the doubt, it all felt so insignificant compared to the sheer strength that pulsed inside me. But then, a memory flashed through my mind, Chidike's face, filled with concern, filled with love. No. I couldn't let this power consume me. I couldn't let it take me away from everything I held dear. I stood up abruptly, shaking the thoughts from my head. The room seemed to darken, as if the shadows themselves were feeding on my uncertainty. I stumbled toward the door, desperate to get out, to escape the suffocating weight of my own thoughts. Outside, the cool night air hit my skin, and I felt a little more grounded. The wind rustled the trees, the sounds of the village far off in the distance. But even then, I couldn't escape the pull. The spirit world wasn't done with me. And I wasn't done with it either. A voice from the past. Suddenly, I heard a voice, soft and distant, one that I hadn't heard in years. My heart skipped a beat. Amora, it's me, Adis. I froze. It was the voice of my older sister, my twin, Adis. But Adis had been gone for years. Vanished without a trace. No one knew what happened to her, except that she'd been drawn into the spirit world, just like her mother before her. I turned around, expecting to see her standing there, but all I saw was the empty path ahead of me, the moon casting long shadows. Adis. I whispered, my voice barely audible. Yes, Amora, the voice replied, but it sounded far away, as if she was speaking from another realm. I've been waiting for you. Waiting for you to understand what's happening. You cannot escape what is in your blood. I swallowed hard, my throat tight. What do you mean? How do you know what's happening to me? I see you, Amora. I've always seen you, Adis' voice said. The power inside you, it's not just magic. It's a contract. A curse. And if you don't learn to control it, it will destroy you. I staggered back, my heart pounding in my chest. A curse. But that wasn't possible. Was it? The council knows you're awakening. They've been watching. And when they come, you will have to choose. But you won't be alone. Not completely. The wind shifted suddenly, and the voice of Adis vanished, leaving only the whisper of the trees. My mind reeled. The council knew. They had always known. And the power inside me wasn't just some gift, it was a chain, a dangerous legacy that I couldn't outrun. A moment of clarity. I didn't know how long I stood there, my mind a whirlwind of confusion and fear. But eventually, I felt a calmness, a clarity I hadn't felt in days. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't run from this. I couldn't ignore my bloodline any longer. If I was going to face the council, I had to learn to control the darkness, to bend it to my will. I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and focused inward. The power swelled within me, and I could feel it trying to take over, but this time, I wasn't afraid. I would face it. I would learn to control it. But I needed help. I needed Chidike. Chidike's promise. I made my way back to Mama Ebo's hut, and there, sitting outside, was Chidike. His face lit up with relief when he saw me. "Amara, I've been looking all over for you," he said, his voice filled with concern. I walked toward him, taking his hand in mine. "Chidike, I've been talking to Adis." His brow furrowed. "Adis? But how?" She's been trying to warn me. The power inside me is more than just magic, Chidike. It's a curse, a legacy. And the council, they are coming for me." Chidike looked at me, his face a mask of determination. "Then we'll face them together, Amara. Whatever it takes." I smiled, though it was tinged with sadness. "I don't know if I can control this, Chidike. I'm afraid of what it might do to me." He cupped my face gently, his eyes full of love and determination. "You're not alone in this. I'll stand by you, Amara. No matter what." The weight in my chest lifted slightly, but the fear remained. The power was still there, waiting to consume me. But for the first time in days, I felt like I wasn't facing it alone. The road ahead. The next few days were filled with intense training. Mama Ebo, though reluctant to let me face the council so soon, agreed to teach me how to control the powers. But there was only so much she could teach me, for the power was unlike anything she had seen before. It wasn't just elemental, it was tied to something older, something much darker. With Chidike by my side, I grew stronger. I could feel the darkness shifting inside me, but I was no longer afraid to face it. Together, we would stand against the council, together we would fight for my future. But the road ahead was not an easy one. The spirit world was waiting, watching. And they would not give up so easily. To be continued.